Hey, deserving listeners, it's time to continue our journey watching Mike and Natalie on 90 Day Fiancé. My name is Dr. Kirk Honda. I'm a therapist and a professor. Let's get to the show.
I would think I'm classy, sophisticated person who likes adventures. I love sport. I love sport a lot. I do snowboard, I do diving, I run, I climb mountains, not like climb.
So there's a lot of that around Squim. I don't know about sports, really, other than just maybe local teams, but you can absolutely scuba dive in and around, near Squim. There's a lot of mountains. There's the Olympic mountains that are right there. And snowboard, maybe an hour or two away, where you can get some really good snowboarding in. So maybe they are a good match. Let's continue watching.
I want maybe a more calm and peaceful life. I want a family. And I want a good partner to me. It's an interesting situation about how me and Michael started.
I know where that is. That's downtown Seattle, one of the tourist areas.
I didn't expect at all to hear all these questions, and I was like, возьми просто нож и зарежь меня.
Кажется, она не понимает, куда она едет. У меня такое впечатление, что она реально не понимает. Парень, очевидно, менеджер.
So I don't know, it's just initial impression. I'm always looking for that first moment on the show where someone's emotionality is revealed, their traumas, if you will, their triggers. And I don't know if we're witnessing that here, but she seems to be activated. She seems to be having a physiological response that's indicative of trauma. I don't know exactly what is going on. I'm just speculating. What's happening is this friend is questioning Mike's ability to pay for things, including having children. And Natalie doesn't really have an answer for that. She doesn't know if Mike has enough money to pay for things, or she knows that he doesn't. And she feels attacked. And I don't know what is going on. It's normal to feel attacked in a situation like that. It's rational to feel like, hey, I thought you were my friend. Thought you'd be supportive. Why are you grilling me about my fiancé's finances? Can't I make that choice for myself? But at the same time, we have to wonder what kind of traumas there are for her, Natalie, because those need to be taken care of in all situations, particularly in a close romantic relationship with Mike. So I don't know, I'm just speculating, but let's continue watching.
Пусть найдет вторую работу.
They never saw him in real. So it was a mistake of them to say something towards him without seeing him. I didn't like it at all. How can you make opinion without seeing a person for real?
I will say that it's a good sign that Natalie feels hurt and angry that other people are insulting Mike. It shows that she might truly love him and truly care for him and be defensive of him. It's actually one of the things that I look for in couples as an assessment. If they defend each other, then it shows that the love is there, the bond is there, that resentments haven't built up, that contempt hasn't built up, that the person was raised well enough and not traumatized enough such that they can extend their empathy for other people.
I really want to have a kid as soon as possible. I think that, our main thing right now is to probably wait a little bit and get you to America first, so we can get our feet on the ground. And then I think we need to start really working and focusing on our family. What do you think?
Wrong answer.
Wrong answer?
All right, so I'm really glad they're having this conversation early regarding their plans for having children. She wants to have children right away, and he wants to have children too, but he wants to wait a little bit. I wish that they would lock that down in terms of timeline. They're talking in pretty obscure, abstract notions. She's like, let's have a child. And then he says, well, I want to have a child too, but let's get our feet on the ground in Washington, and then let's have kids then. Maybe what she means is, I want to have a child within a year and a half. And maybe for him, he's like, yeah, that's absolutely in my plans as well. But I wonder if they're misinterpreting each other. I wish they'd be a little bit more specific. But the other thing here is that they're heading into a conflict where they disagree. And I will say that they're being very good thus far in that they are being differentiated, meaning that they're speaking their truth and not lying out of anxiety. And so let's see how they navigate this. All couples have disagreements, and all good couples have ongoing disagreements. Research shows that. It's just how we manage them. And it's not that we have the disagreements, it's how we manage them. Let's watch.
Want to start making a baby right now?
Why not?
Because I think it's important that we kind of wait.
They're both healthy. Everything is fine.
You are right. You don't want to wait a little bit at least?
Give me the reason.
Just because we need to get you to America first, baby. You know, I think
Does
it's
it
really
matter?
important. It matters a little bit, don't you
Why?
think? Huh?
Why?
So there's absolutely nothing wrong with her saying that she wants to get pregnant right now. It seems a little quick, but there's nothing wrong with that, of course. They're engaged. They plan on spending the rest of their lives together, and so there's nothing wrong with that. It is a little unusual that she can't say, well, let's give it a little bit of time. It sounds like he's flexible on that. So let's see how they manage that because, and I don't know his preference. Maybe for him, he's definitely flexible in terms of what he's looking for. Maybe he is open to changing his mind. If he's not, let's watch how he manages saying, look, I definitely want to, but I don't want to right now. So let's wait a little bit of time. So let's continue watching.
I want to get you all settled in. I think there's just some key things that we need to get worked out.
Natalie is very persistent about starting a family right now. I, on the other hand, am not ready to have them right this moment.
I wish that he'd be a little bit more specific around that because I think that would help her. Why? I think he's worried about money. I would also be worried about, he said that she doesn't have a visa yet. So let's say she does get pregnant and she never gets a visa. Maybe they break up during the engagement after she gets pregnant and he never sees the child again. So those are perfectly viable things to bring up, but he's not really saying very specific things. So I don't know if she's going to accept just a general rejection of that without specific reasons. Now, maybe she's looking for specific reasons so she can shoot them down. I don't know. But for the most part, we've certainly seen worse conflicts on this show than this, where they don't listen to each other, they get highly activated, they put each other down, they get super angry. Neither one of them is doing that, so 2 thumbs up to, a difficult conversation about something that's very important to both of them.
I don't know, 6 months.
Well,
And I
that's...
could be already with a belly during all 6 months, and
I don't want you here by yourself if it takes that long by
and it's my
yourself when
mom.
you're pregnant.
My mom is great. So
I want to wait. I want to be here for that experience, I want to be a good husband to you. I want to be able to take you to the doctors and stuff. I want to be here for that ultrasound,
All right, makes sense, and maybe that will help her to see his point of view. Let's see what happens.
I want to be here for every step, I don't want to find out on Skype, oh, we're having a boy.
love,
Yes.
please.
Where's Mama at?
Yeah, it is a little interesting, the way she stares. She did this with her friend, too. She gets to this point where she just starts to stare. I don't know if they're editing it that way, but that concerns me a little bit. It seems rigid, but I don't know. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with her wanting to have kids right away. There's nothing wrong with them both having their wishes there. There is somewhat of a tiny red flag there about the way she's negotiating and the way she seems to be almost pressuring him to change his mind. Now, again, there's something, there's a fine line between trying to influence your partner and pressuring, right? So I don't know what's going on. I'm guessing if you've watched this season, you know the answer to that question. So I guess I'm going to find out as I watch.
Mama!
Natalie is really pressing me, and we don't even have a final word on her visa as of now. I want to be with Natalie, but I don't want to be rushed into any situations. We have a lot to figure out.
And again, I am liking the way that they are communicating about this for the most part. There's so many other options available to him in particular as he is getting the stare down from her about this. He could lie and placate her and say, yeah, sure, absolutely. But, let's talk about it in a couple weeks. And then he just keeps putting it off. He could also get real angry, like, hey, I don't like this kind of pressure. This is kind of some BS here. Like, you need to back off. Or saying yes, but really secretly not wanting the child. And then when the child comes, resenting that, or when she gets pregnant, resenting that. She gets pregnant, he agrees, she gets pregnant, and then he says, well, you pressured me into it. So, those are all things that people do when they're anxious about disapproval, when they're undifferentiated, when they have a hard time managing their emotions and their goals in life, when their emotions become overwhelming and they let them overpower their better judgment. And he doesn't exhibit that. He's just standing strong, so it's good.
Майкл, он знает, что я люблю Бога, и тем не менее он продолжает тянуть свою линию, что вот нет, я в Бога не верю, Бога не существует.
Well, I mean, like, I support Natalie, like, 100%, the way she believes, and I don't ever want her to change her beliefs and stuff, Me, in a personal one-on-one sense, like, I've just never believed in God.
So this one might be a bigger challenge. My cat is now awake and has things to say. But this might be a bigger challenge because for the two of them, they both want kids. It's just a matter of the timeline. So that one's easier for them to negotiate. But in this instance, they have completely different belief systems about religion and God. Usually those things don't change. For an atheist to suddenly believe in a God, and particularly in a religion, that is not often what happens, and vice versa. So I wonder how they're going to navigate this. He has stated that he fully supports her and her religion. Let's see what her stance is on his belief system.
Their version of a spaceship, they portray people riding down in clouds, and I believe in aliens. I've never even gone to church.
No, never?
I've never gone to church.
So she's doing that stare down thing again, which I wonder what that is about. Let's see how they manage this.
And I think it will be a problem for the future.
Right. It's something that they definitely should be discussing now in terms of how they're going to navigate their religious differences. If she comes to the States, I'm guessing she's going to want to go to church. When they have kids, are the kids going to go to church? Are they not? Will both of them express their belief systems to the kids and the kids can make their own choices? These are things that absolutely can be worked out. It's not a foregone conclusion that it's an incompatibility. People make it work, but it's important to discuss those things because it might be a deal breaker for either one of them.
I'm glad that we got to meet. It feels great that we got to sit down and talk. I feel great. Like, you're a wonderful friend, and I appreciate everything.
All right. They seem to navigate that conversation really well. No blow-ups, no accusations, no anger, no hostility. So it's good. All right. Well, that does it for that episode of Psychology in Seattle, in which I watched 90 Day Fiancé. Everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.